What do the 9 million people do?
I don't know.
Wow. The Uber CEO, Dara Khosrowshahi, just said on the DOAC podcast that they have 9 million drivers, couriers on their platform. In the next 5 to 15, maybe 20 years, he doesn't know what's going to happen to their job. And this problem isn't just an Uber problem. This is a humanity problem. Hi, my name is Levi Spires. This is the Tip You in the App Daily Drive podcast. The Daily Drive is brought to you by the Gig You app. The DOAC podcast is one of my favorite podcasts. They have just great interviews, and I've been a subscriber for a long time. So needless to say, when I woke up this morning, went through my podcast list, the latest episode came out and Dara Khosrowshahi was on the podcast. Now, I'm an Uber driver. And so anytime I see the CEO of Uber speak, I listen. And it's a great podcast. I love all the backstory. I think Dara's story is good. And I know my fellow Uber drivers out there, we want to villainize Dara. I know I do. I get frustrated by the lack of driver support would be the best way to say it. But it's still a great story. Coming from Iran, becoming the CEO of probably one of the largest companies in the world. In fact, in the podcast, he talks about 9 million drivers.
I mean, we've got 9.5 million drivers and couriers on our platform. We are the largest organizer of flexible work around the world. And I think the second largest workforce is the Chinese army.
Wow.
Yeah. It's a big group of folks that we've organized.
That's 9.5 million people, which in the grand scheme of things isn't that many. There's 6-7 billion people on the planet, or whatever the number is. And so there are other jobs out there, but that's my job. So I care about it, and I care about the people that do this work. And it's a big thing. In fact, it's probably a lot more because there are other drivers for other platforms, I guess. I didn't think about that. But here's where it gets really interesting. Now, I drive a Tesla, and I use Tesla FSD all the time. And I've felt that it's safer. It's funny when my passengers question why I use Tesla FSD is because I think that they are safer.
Statistically, there's less accidents in an autonomous Tesla than there is if a human drives it. So it's safer for my car to drive itself statistically than for me to drive it. That's true, right? That the autonomous driving is currently safer.
That's true. So Waymos are safer. And then now you are a backup to the Tesla, right, as a human being. So I've got a Tesla as well. And once in a while it disengages and I've got to disengage. So it's not necessarily the pure autonomous agent that's better than humans, but definitely the autonomous agent with a human backup. No question that's better than the pure human.
Now, this is the crux of the argument for AI. You've probably seen fake videos or AI videos, and then the caption will say something like, Hollywood is dead, or, autonomous agents doing the work, like reading your email or whatever. So when it comes to driving a car, the case for an autonomous car is that it's safer than a human driver. And I don't think there's an argument. We like to think that we are safer as humans drivers, but we're more likely to make mistakes. And they even say in the podcast, like something like 1 million people every year die in automotive accidents. So the case for an autonomous car is that we're going to be safer. So you can see regulations coming, right? There used to be regulations about wearing your seatbelt, or not. You don't have to wear a seatbelt, and you got regulations for seatbelt, and cars got heavier as we added more airbags and more safety features, and cars are definitely safer. So the governments of the world are going to try to make travels as safe as possible, and that's going to lead them to want to implement autonomous cars. And I could see it. I can envision, I should say, cities starting off saying that this zone, these square blocks, these miles are autonomous cars only. And you're not allowed to be a human driver because we want the safety of pedestrians and passengers and bicyclists. Now, when is it going to happen?
So I think 20 years from now, you can imagine that those 9 million will be 20 million AVs maybe. But we have time between now and then, partially because we don't operate in the virtual world, right? We operate in the physical world. You have to get the regulations up. You have to build the cars. You have to build the sensor stacks. The models have to get there. So there is time between now and then, but you can imagine the majority of our trips being fulfilled by robots of some kind, probably not 10 years from now, but you go 15, 20 years from now, you're going to start getting there. But the timing there, how fast is it going to go? It's a real question mark. I think you're absolutely right. I don't think it's going to be a big issue in the next 5 years. But when you go 5+ years, it's going to become more of an issue for society at large.
Now I'm 52 this year, so 5 years I'll be 57. I'm still in the workforce I assume as a driver, so it's going to affect me. But 20 years, I think about my granddaughter, my grandchildren. I think about my children. It's going to affect all of us. And over the next 5 years is what he's saying is like, it's going to go from right now kind of a novelty thing that's being tested and implemented, but on a very small scale, to probably over the next 5 years being implemented, I would say nationwide, where autonomous cars, whether they be robotaxis, Waymos, other car companies trying to implement this, are going to build their vehicles around the idea of being an autonomous car. Now, there's fleet replacement, there's regulations, there's a lot of things that are going to happen. Even here in the state of New York, Governor Hochul, she postponed, delayed Waymo, whatever. It's still coming. It's still coming. No matter what she does, it's still going to happen. Okay, so the next 5 to 15, 20 years or whatever the number is, millions of people are going to lose their job, at least in my industry, but I assume across the board. It's easy for us to see fast food restaurants being robots only. No white collar middle manager jobs. A lot of any job where you spend most of your time on your computer doing a thing, editing videos, graphic design, typing, whatever. If you're not doing human face-to-face work, your job's going to be radically changed in the next 5, 15, 20 years. So this is where the podcast gets really interesting. And this is what I want to hit home.
What do the 9 million people do?
I don't know. Now, we are expanding the kind of work that's available on the platform, partially as a result of it, right? We used to be the only work is driving. Now there's delivering. You can have shoppers as well. I think it'll be a little while at least before you get AI shoppers. And now actually we have a team called Uber AI Solutions.
It's interesting because I was thinking, putting 2 and 2 together about your father's journey of coming to the US, losing what he had, losing his job, and the loss of like meaning and purpose being really central to him. And I could see that basically from your face that I think what I interpreted from your face was that he struggled with, as any provider would, the loss of like meaning that comes with, because jobs aren't just about money. Especially, they give you a sense of worth.
And therein lies the real problem. I don't think an autonomous world, in a world of an abundance like that Elon Musk refers to, where we can have abundant anything, easy, simple transportation, abundance of food, abundance of entertainment, whatever it is, our lives will be, they're almost making it sound like we're those people floating on a spaceship in the movie WALL-E, those overweight people sitting on like chairs, looking at little iPads, being entertained. That's what they make the world feel like, this world of abundance. But entertaining ourselves, pleasuring ourselves, isn't really an identity of meaning and purpose. Now, I I'm rationally fearful of the future because it's unknown. And as a parent, as a grandparent, you want to tell your kids, here's what you can do to prepare to get ready for it. And I don't have that answer. So it makes me nervous and fearful. But I don't personally, while I do call myself an Uber driver, and I like to say I'm a writer or a content creator or an artist, my real identity is in the fact that I'm a Christian. I find my identity in God, and that's my real meaning and purpose in life. It's not about how much money I make or how many rides I give. It's about my relationship with God and honoring and worshiping Him. And I can hear people who aren't Christians now or of other faiths saying, well, you have to find meaning and purpose in your life outside of your work. I think ultimately that's what it comes down to in this world of AI and autonomous cars and robotics or whatever is going to be happening in the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years in my lifetime and probably your lifetime. Your meaning can't come from the thing that you do for employment because it just may not exist. It just may not exist. I grabbed this book off the shelf. If you haven't read it, I recommend it, but it's Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl. And it's one of the more powerful books. Basically Viktor Frankl is in a concentration camp and he gets stripped out of everything in his life. He's a Jew and he's in Nazi Germany and he's in this concentration camp and everything is taken away from him. His life's work. He's basically nothing now of a person, but he maintains his mental strength because meaning didn't come from that stuff. It comes from basically striving every single day. And I'm doing a very best injustice of defining what that book is. But it's a good read. And I just want to reach out to my fellow drivers or anybody else that's listening now. The world is changing. Nobody knows what it's going to look like. It could be this utopian world where we have this world of abundance. It could be this dystopian world where, only the rich have things and all these poor people like me and us Uber drivers, us 9 million people out of work, we're going to get a minimum bare subsistence of gruel to eat. I don't know. It could be anarchy and chaos. And yeah, it could be crazy. Who knows? But it's not going to be what it is today. That's what I believe. It's whatever we're doing right now isn't going to be the same in 5, 15, 20 years, especially for my fellow Uber drivers. The CEO, for all of his goods and bads, flaws and whatever, of Uber, Dara, his job isn't to provide me or you with a job, much less meaning and purpose. And it's frustrating to see really lowball offers come through and you're like, why would I take that and reject that? It's frustrating to deal with Uber's customer service and support. It's horrible to see professional drivers being kicked off the app by random complaints that the driver can't control. I mean, like, a good example is this. Uber rates me on my shopping, and it says I've only found 91% of the original items the person requested. As if I'm going to the grocery store and not looking all over for that item. And they're like, well, we can't give you the bonuses because you have to be at 93%. It's so frustrating. Yes, the app is frustrating. And I think Dara's leadership of the company to profitability has been on our backs. And I'm not trying to escape that or not talk about it. It's not relevant to the bigger picture. And I've made dozens of podcasts like this. And I think it's just important to keep reiterating the fact. I had another driver comment to me the other day saying something like, you're not fighting for drivers. And I don't know what he's talking about. Because I'm right here, right now, I'm telling you the best I can. I believe in my heart of hearts that in 5, 15, 20 years, there won't be human drivers, especially of Ubers. And I remember a couple of years ago, even a year ago, I would say, I don't know, Waymos are coming to your town, and people would argue, no, they're never coming to my city. And then boom, they're in Atlanta. It's happening, and we'd be suckers to not act on this. I don't know. I don't have the solution for you and what you can do for a profession. I don't. And I don't think you're looking to me to give that answer anyway. I do believe it's important for you to find meaning and purpose in your life outside of work. And for me, that's my relationship with God, my relationship with my wife and kids and family, friends. Those things matter most. Again, I woke up this morning having a total different agenda of what I was going to do. And when that podcast came through, I was like, oh my God, let me knuckle down. And I recommend you watch it. It's a great podcast. It's the interviews that are happening on these long form podcasts, like this one, the Joe Rogan podcast, or any others that you can think of. It's great. It's so much better than the sound bites of modern TV, whether it be some sort of news channel or whatever, some sort of daily talk show. The ability to just sit down one-to-one with somebody for hours and just give an honest conversation and then publish that. It's great. So watch it, subscribe. I really recommend you do subscribe to that channel. Hey, 5 years isn't today. Drivers, you still have to go out there and make money. I hope you go out and make as much money as possible. I hope you're safe. I hope you're healthy. I hope you're happy. And I want you to know that I am cheering for you. Be well. Bye.